Hello guys, welcome to your the monthly magazine series videos, and in today's lecture we are going to study about the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences, how the Joel Mokyr, the Philippe Aghion and the Peter Howitt, with their innovations of the innovation and growth, they got the Nobel Prize in Economics. So let's start with the news. Why in the news? The Severages Risk Bank Prize in Economic Sciences 2025 means it is the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences was awarded to Joel Mokyr, Philippe Aghion, and Peter Howitt for how, for what, for the explaining the innovation-driven economic growth. It means the how the innovation of a particular country of a particular economy is contributing in its economic growth. It means the how research and development in many things and the innovations or new technologies are boosting the economies, the emerging economies or the existing developed economies. So we are going to study about the how the innovation is correlated with the economic growth. Okay, before explaining the what is the innovation driven link with the economic growth, let us understand the some kind of history of the Nobel Prize of Economics. It is known as the Severages Risk Bank Prize in Economic Sciences. Established in 1968 by the Severages Risk Bank, Swedish Central Bank. It is the Swedish Central Bank. It was established by the Swedish Bank, and it is not one of the five Nobel Prizes established by Alfred Nobel's will in 1895. So, how the Nobel Prize in 1885? When at the time of the death of Alfred Nobel, he had the will that the amount which he had is going to be with the world in the way of award, and the award should be named as the Nobel Award. And there were the five main things: the Nobel in the peace, Nobel in the literature, and many things. But it it is the Nobel Prize in Economics was not in the will of the Alfred Nobel. It is us different things. It was established by the Central Sweden's Central Bank in 1968, awarded by the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences, and who is the authorized agency by which the award is given. The award is given by the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences. Who was the first recipient? To Ragnar Frises and Jan Tinbergen in 1969 is the first recipient. So the Ragnar Friss and Jan Tinberg in 1969 was the first who would receive the Royal Swedish Nobel Award in Economics. And who was the first Indian? Amartya Sen was the first Indian to receive Nobel Prize for Economics in 1998 for his contributions to welfare economics and social choice theory. So the main things about the Amartya Sen was the social choice theory and welfare economics, by which he got the Nobel Nobel Prize in Economics in 1998. So this is the thing: innovation, economic growth, dynamics. So here the three-person got the Nobel Prize in Economics by the linking the economic growth with the innovations of that particular country. See, this is the lower innovation drivers, and see, this is the high economic performance. This is the high innovation drivers. How? If any country have a good kind of money, the capital, but it is lacking in the low innovation, that it will show the efficiency of the particular country but stagnant economies. It means it has the efficiency to do something good, to do something better in a way, but it is a kind of stagnant economy. It means it will remain at that point, at that particular step, at that particular fixed point, fixed economy, because he is not innovating some kind of new ideas, some kind of new technologies to boost to a step, gain a step further in this kinds of the uh, economy boost. So this is with the low innovation drivers. And what is the high innovation drivers? If the company have the money or the efficiency, and also it have the best kind of the innovations facility, then thriving innovation hubs, it means the potential growth areas, it will boost the economy. And how it affect high economic performance? It will mean high economic performance. And how low in economic performance will boost? Struggling economies is the low economic performance. They have the lack of fund for the innovations and many things. And high innovation, high countries, high income countries, high income economies have the potential to grow in areas. also with the low innovation drivers. Specific contributions of the laureates. Let's see what is the specific contributions with each one. We are going to see with the first start with the Joel Mokyr, prerequisites for sustained growth. He was awarded for having identified the prerequisites for sustained growth through technological process. So basically he got the Nobel Prize for giving the idea that a kind of prerequisites, it means we have to something before starting something. Means if you want to growth your economy, growth your particular country's income, many things, you have something previously in your mind, in your back end, and that is the prerequisites, and that should be for sustained growth through technological process. It means it would be the technology. And for technological advances to drive sustained growth, three key elements must be present. It means if you want to drive sustained growth through technology, it means you want sustained growth. It is the sustaining growth, that is the same growth rate since the 2 to 3 years or decades. And if you want to achieve more economic growth or want to sustain economic growth, you have to improve your technological advances, and for this you have to maintain three key elements. What are the three elements? First, second, third. The first is joint evolution of science and technology. Means science and technology should be evaluated and boosted jointly. The second one is the mechanical competences. It means your competency with the mechanically should be strong, and society open to change. Broad hardened society should be not should kind of orthodox society which have the limitations in their thoughts, in mind, in beliefs, that they should if they adopt new kinds of technology, their culture should going to be affected, and many kind of these things. So your society should be open to change. So these kinds of three things are key elements for technological advances, and by these technological advances you are going to drive sustained growth. And what are the contributions of Philippe Aghion and Peter Howitt? And their theory was the theory of creative destruction. What is the creative destruction? Let us see. They were recognized for their mathematical model of creative destructions. It means developed in 1992. Creative destruction means a kind of you can understand. But let us example. You have a kind of mud toy, and you are going to mess it up and rebuild a new toy, a simpler, not complex toy, a very beautiful aesthetic toy, and it is going to be a more value compared to the previous one. So these kinds of things are, you are destructing something for some kind of creativity and for some kind of a better way. So this is the theory of creative destructions, and they were recognized for their mathematical model, the framework of creative destruction that was developed in 1992. What is the creative destruction? Describes the process where a new and better product enters the market, making older products obsolete. It means not in the use, not in the kind of the flow of the market, and causing companies selling them to lose out. Okay, so this I have tell you that creativity and this kinds of mud toy, the market, the first one and the second one. So this is the creative destruction. This process is creative because it introduces something new, and destructive because it outcompetes existing products. So these are the basic things why these products is called the creativity, because we by messing up the mud, we are creating a new toy, and destruction means outcompetes existing products. One of the key elements of their model stated that companies are incentivized to invest in R&D by temporary monopoly through patents. However, patents do not protect from a competitor marketing marking a new pattern. Sorry for the disturbance. So where we however, patents do not protect firms from a competitor making a new patentable innovations. So these kinds of things, so how patents are not protecting firms from competitor making a new patentable innovations. So these are some kinds of, we can say that limitations. So this is the role of innovations, and this is the role of creative destruction in growth. So this is the role, and there is the examples. The first one is the boost productivity. Same input generates greater output. Okay, if we have the same input, it will generate greater output. How? In OECD or countries, like the rich countries, the UK, USA, second, two-third or three-fourth of the labor productivity growth came from intangible research and development, software innovation, and ICT. Okay, this is the main things. How? See, See, the particular things in research and development, in the software innovations, we have the same input everywhere. It means the human capital are the same, and the many things are the same, but greater inputs. We are getting more and more by. We take the examples of R&D, research and developments in many things. The inputs are here the limitation. In the limitations, and by investing, by giving them the fund more and more over the years, we are getting more and more in the output by developing some kind of technological advances with this kind. So let us understand, if we have created a kind of the good technology in machinery. So if this machine is going to produce more than 2x product of the previous its previous version, then it's going to be best output. So this is the boost productivity. Same input generates greater output. Second is improving standard of living. How? The new medicines, the transport, the better food, internet, increase opportunities for communications. By innovating new medicines, before 1980s and 1970s, we had rarely any kind of the cancer related, cancer curing diseases, cancer curing medicines, tablets, and many things are kind of the. In 1950s, 1960s, we had barely found the antidote of any kinds of viruses, but now it is common, very common. We have in the very genetic medicines, genetic shops, that we have the common cold common cold antibiotic drugs and many things. Same for the transport. Earlier there was hardly any kind of the good transport, like the metro. There was not a kind of metro, but with the innovations of new kind of technology, how we are going to utilize them in our bullet train, the luteinizing train, the how magnetic effect is rebuilding this kind of transport. So innovations is also contributing better ways for standard of living in the medicines, then transport, and better food availability. How we are by the nanotechnology, we are using how the carbon and hydrogen bonding in the mainly hydrocarbon products, like the carbohydrates and the fat and the proteins. We are these are these how these are affecting our the particular parts, like the lungs, for the hearts, and many oils like the saturated oil and unsaturated oils are affecting our body. So better food and better internet. We have the 5G technology for the kind of the seamless speed with the internet and many things, and increased opportunities for communications. We have the good kinds of opportunities for communication with the mobile phones, with the satellite, with many things. So these things are we obvious that it is improving our standard of living. And what is the transforms economies into knowledge based systems? Let's see. Transforms economies, the particular economies, into knowledge based system. How? So let's understand. The countries investing in education, in the ICT and R&D, like South Korea, R&D spending is 4.9% of GDP, experience faster GDP growth and higher income mobility. How? If you are investing more and more in education, more and more in research and development in ICT, how if it will affect? It will educate more and more people, your populations, and with this co-interlink with the research and development in ICT, it is enhancing their skills. So by enhancing their skills, they are going to do a good kind of job, either in their country or in other parts of the world. So if by these kinds of things, the GDP growth of that particular country is going to be experience faster growth. Okay, so this, if you transport economies into knowledge based system, your it is obvious that your GDP, particular GDP, is going to be best, and it means the growth is going to be in a better way. Encourages entrepreneurs and high value jobs. In the startups ecosystem created 1 lakh startups and 70 lakh direct jobs. It is the data of up to the December 2024. So India's startup ecosystem created 1.5 lakh startups and 70 lakh direct jobs. If you increase the entrepreneurships, it will improve your GDP shape and GDP growth. Promote sustainable and inclusive growth. Renewable onshore wind, the most cost-effective options for new electric generations. It is also obvious that if you have the best kinds of the wind and solar energy and hydroelectric power capacity, if you it will it is obvious that it will boost your energy sector, and it will transition from the conventional source of crude oil to the best of the renewable energy. So let us jump to the our new topic. Sorry, the new to subtopic, the role of creative destruction in growth. The first one is the foster innovations and technological upgrading. How? Let us example, automobile industries transitions to electric vehicles, displacing traditional combustion engine forms, creating new markets for batteries and clean energy. So by investing in EVs, electric vehicles, automobiles industries are creating new markets for batteries and clean energy. How? If you are suppose this is the Mahindra's EV vehicle, and it is in not it is inbuilt with some kinds of EV battery, but EV battery have a kind of capacity to 3 years, and after 2 to 3 years in the aftermarket battery, we have the choice to go for Mahindra or any kind of market aftermarket batteries. So by these kinds of creating electric vehicles by the Mahindra, it is also creating some kind of market for the EV batteries. So creating new markets for batteries and clean energy, it is also the creative destruction. Creative destruction means we are destructing the old pattern of the fuel cells like the diesels, the petrols, and we are creating a new kind of the like the electric vehicles and batteries. But by these kinds of things, we are also creating some kind of the new economies interlinked with these kinds of particular thing. How? We have seen with the Mahindra's electric vehicles and the batteries and clean energy. Encourage entrepreneurship and competition. India's digital revolution, UPI, fintech, e-commerce, disrupted traditional banking and retail, increasing inclusion and innovation. How? Let us understand. Earlier we had the mode of transaction with the businesses. Many things were only the RTGS, the NEFT, real time gross settlements, the NEFT. But we have now the unified payment interface, UPI. It is the kind of digital revolutions. So it is also kind of the creative destructions. We are destructing the old pattern of the mode of payment and now creating a kind of the new one from the existing the older one. So it is India's digital revolutions, how it is affecting India's economy. So what is the third one? The reallocation of resources, high rates of firm entry and exit, and improved efficiency of production factors across units improves labor productivity growth. So it is the also important things, how the rate of entry and exit of firms and improve efficiency of production factors units, that will improve the labor productivity one. That is the third one. Economic resilience, COVID-19 digital transformation accelerated, enabling remote work and e-commerce growth. So after the COVID-19 digital transformation, many things have been accelerated. Either it should be the remote work or it should be the e-commerce, but it has gained a kind of momentum after the COVID-19. Okay. So here are some kind of the government initiatives for innovations and technological process. The RDI scheme, the Atal Innovation Mission, the Deep Tech Funds, technology advancement policies, thematic missions, international collaborations with the many countries and many organizations, bilateral or multilateral, digital infrastructure initiatives, startup and research support. So RDI scheme promote private sector research with a 1 lakh crore fund. It is the RDI scheme. What is Atal Innovation? Develop innovation infrastructure in educational institutions nationwide by Niti Aayog. It is innovation missions for education sector institutions like the schools, in the college, the adult tinkering labs and many things, and for creating that kind of innovations at the basic level of educations. Okay. And what is the deep tech funds? Rupees 10,000 crore for cutting edge research and startup. Cutting edge research, it means the new age that is up to the mark with the standards of the global, and startup scaling. Technology advancement policies, PLI semiconductor missions in India, AI mission drive technological growth. apart from these, the thematic missions like the blockchain technology, we are using how the blockchain technology with many kinds of the government organizations, government ministries, systems, database. Erabat quantum missions, Erabat the supercomputer, how the how we are increasing our flops of the existing supercomputers like the Erabat. Wow, the in Perseus and many supercomputers. The quantum missions we are using, we have the quantum missions for using of the qubits, and for the many kinds of potential with these kinds of qubits and the deep tech policies. We are also interacting with the many kind of the international organizations or in countries like the IC8 with USA, semiconductor partnership with Japan, and Queen with the Quad. What is the digital infrastructure initiative? Digital India, Startup India, Make in India, and these kind of initiative. Startup and research support, Prism scheme, MPM research fellowship, promote research scheme. These kinds of the research, startup and research support system. So here are the conclusions. You can conclude these kinds of the particular things reading this thing. Economic growth stems both innovation, strong fundamental investment in infrastructure, education, and these are the bullshit things, are not important. Okay, so we are signing out from here, and we are going to study the next topic. What is that is the PM Dhan Krishi Yojana in the next video. So thank you guys.